We've all seen these routines. The serene, picture-perfect mornings they label as productive, but that don't actually achieve anything meaningful. And then there's this.
This isn't the life that I want, and it's just like so frustrating to me. I've sacrificed my 20s, I've sacrificed all of the years with the kids being young, and I just don't think it was worth it. The chaos and the hustle, and I'm just so tired of it. Always being pulled in a million directions.
It's just about 5:30 and I have to get ready for a 6:30 a.m. class. I have to be quiet because Curtis is still sleeping, of course. Today I have a lot of stuff that I need to get done, and pray for me.
I've tried the mainstream productivity advice, but they make no sense. It's either too extreme or completely pointless. On one hand, you have the hustle hard mentality. You wake up at 4 a.m., you never take breaks, and you squeeze every second out of the day. But that only led to burnout and feeling miserable. On the other end, there's the aesthetic productivity trend, making to-do lists, drinking matcha, or drinking water. I don't understand how that's being productive. I'm doing a 10-step skincare routine, but none of it actually moves the needle in life. So I realized that true productivity isn't about doing more for the sake of it or following what looks good online. It's about doing what actually matters, making real progress toward your goals while still enjoying your life in the process. So what actually works for me is thinking about productivity in 4 buckets. First bucket is my schedule. They say to do the hardest things first, eat the frog. But I start my day with things that I find easy and look forward to, like doing a workout or journaling. I actually decided today to do a devotion on the Bible app, but sometimes I read a book or I meditate. It just depends on what I feel I need each morning, but I always try to journal. I find journaling puts me in a positive state to conquer my day. And something I've been trying from the book Willpower Doesn't Work is when I journal, I write down my goals and the things I need to do that day. I usually list 6 tasks to do, and then I prioritize them in order of importance. So even if I don't do all the things on the list, at least number 1 gets done.
So change of plans. I was going to do a quick meditation, but Curtis told me that I have a consult that I need to be at 11. I was gonna do something I called revenue generating tasks. Going to a consult is definitely a revenue generating task, so it fits quite great in there. The only thing is I have no information about the consult, right, Curtis? I am now home, and after these consults, I tend to be really tired and hungry. What are you doing in here?
Just got an email. We closed the client in Yorkville.
You mean you did?
Look cute.
Thanks. So another way I like to think about productivity in terms of buckets is my mind. And I think about that in a couple of ways. One, in terms of mindset, I'm essentially moving from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. And to me, that's 2 different ways of working. For example, in terms of my job, it was really making me busy, but it wasn't helping me produce or have a productive life. Productivity really means that you're utilizing resources in an optimal way. And your time is definitely a resource. So me being busy at my job was really just me utilizing my time to fulfill someone else's dream. And it wasn't actually pushing me forward in terms of my other life goals. So instead, my goal really is to utilize my time in a way where I'm thinking of my time as money. Does that make sense? And then the next thing is something I like to call brain dumping. You've heard of that, I'm sure. Listen, I have a notebook for everything. My journal, this little thing here, this is for YouTube, this is for the business. I know that might sound crazy to have so many notebooks, but I like to get my ideas out on paper. It helps me prioritize things when they're written down. And also I'm learning a lot too. So I like to have a place, like a specific notebook for each type of thing. You know, like when you're in school and you have the 4-subject notebook, but I mean, I just like cuter ones. And so I just put all my ideas and thoughts into the different notebooks. And that way I'm not like overwhelming myself with just having all of that like mental junk trapped in my head. So speaking of being productive, I've been trying to make sure I have food in the fridge ready. So I have a few containers. This is curried salmon with cauliflower. And I made them all in my Instant Pot. This is what I've been using, by the way, which is just full of really healthy recipes. And it's making my life so much easier. But I made this last night. Can you see it? Wait, why is that coffee cake and the coffee not in there? But this is what I made for dessert last night. And it's completely finished. I don't think the intention was to eat the whole thing in one day, but it tasted really good. This is now my go-to for really quick and simple and healthy meals. It's helping me just stay on track in terms of eating and not ordering out, not eating out all the time. It saves money, it saves time. On the weekend, I already planned out a meal plan for the week. So I mentioned the vegetarian red peas and rice. Jamaicans call it rice and peas. I don't know what everybody else calls it. Red beans and rice. We call it rice and peas. Every other day, the plan is to cook a big batch. And then what I don't use, I put it in the freezer. Because if you look at this is me shaming Curtis. Curtis is supposed to be in charge of cooking dinner Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But that never happens.
The leftovers are for my days.
Oh my god, the penny section. And with all that said, I actually do get some work done. Curtis and I usually do our Monday meetings where we catch up on all the things that we need to do for the business to keep each other accountable and make sure that important things are getting done. But usually I'm tucked away with my headphones while I work. That helps me to focus. I play music, things sometimes that don't even have lyrics, and then that way it's just more soothing than anything else, and it keeps me laser focused. Sometimes I go to the extreme of putting my phone on do not disturb if I really need to get something important done. Being a first-time business owner, there's a lot of anxiety that comes up for me. And yeah, it can be stressful and exhausting figuring things out, so I manage that with exercise. As you saw earlier in the video, I go to my workout classes, I do Pilates, yoga, I make sure I stretch my body. And if you're not new to my channel, you know I love long nature walks. I also go to bed at a reasonable hour. Last night I went to bed at 8:30 p.m. y'all on a Sunday night because I needed it. And I'm not afraid to say I take naps when I need them too. Am I the only adult that does that? And I just want to end this video by saying productivity isn't about doing the most or pushing yourself to exhaustion. It's about doing what actually matters to you in a way that feels good and sustainable. So remember, your success isn't defined by how early you wake up, how long your to-do list is, or how closely you follow someone else's routine. It's about consistency, intention, and finding a balance that allows you to grow without burning out. So let me know in the comments, have you ever fallen into the trap of toxic productivity or the aesthetic routines that didn't really move you forward? What's one small shift you want to make in how you approach productivity? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.